The suitcase hit the floor with a violent thud as Marcus hurled it down the stairs. "Get out, Sarah. Pack your things and leave my house now." I stood frozen in our marble foyer, watching my clothes scatter across the floor like broken dreams. Behind Marcus, his mother Linda smirked from the kitchen doorway, her arms crossed in satisfaction. "You heard him, dear," Linda cooed with fake sweetness. "This house belongs to the Williams family. You're nothing but a gold-digging leech who trapped my son." Marcus's face twisted with disgust as he pointed toward the door. "I'm done pretending this marriage works. You contribute nothing. You're worthless." My heart pounded as neighbors began peering through their windows at the commotion. The humiliation burned like acid in my throat. 5 years, Marcus," I whispered, my voice shaking. 5 years I've stood by you. 5 years of using me," he roared. "Living in MY house, eating MY food, spending MY money. Well, it's over. Get out before I call the police." Linda stepped forward, her designer heels clicking on the marble. "You have 30 minutes to collect your personal items. Nothing else in this house belongs to you. The jewelry I bought her, that stays," Marcus added coldly. "Everything stays except the clothes on her back." My hands trembled as I knelt to gather my scattered belongings. Tears blurred my vision, but something deep inside me remained calm. Too calm. Marcus grabbed my arm roughly. "Move faster. I have someone coming over tonight who actually deserves to be here." The words hit like a physical blow. "Another woman. Of course." "You're pathetic," Linda laughed, pulling out her phone. "Let me record this for the family group chat. They'll love seeing the trash finally getting taken out." As I stuffed clothes into the damaged suitcase, my fingers brushed against the leather folder in my purse. The folder I'd been carrying for 3 months, waiting for the right moment. Maybe this was it. A car door slammed outside. Heavy footsteps approached the front door. Marcus froze mid-rant. "Who the hell is that?" The doorbell rang, a deep, authoritative chime that seemed to shake the entire house. I stood up slowly, wiping my tears. That would be my lawyer. "You're what?" Linda's smirk faltered. The door opened to reveal James Morrison, 6'4", silver-haired, wearing a $1,000 suit. Behind him stood 2 younger associates carrying briefcases. "Good evening," James said, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. "I'm here regarding the property dispute." Marcus stepped backward. "There's no dispute. This is my house. I inherited it from my father." James pulled out a thick manila envelope. "Actually, Mr. Williams, that's precisely what we need to discuss." Linda rushed to Marcus's side. "Who is this man? Call security." "Mrs. Williams," James continued without missing a beat. "You might want to sit down for this." I reached into my purse and pulled out the leather folder. Marcus's eyes locked onto it, confusion spreading across his face. "Sarah, what is that?" His voice had lost its commanding edge. James nodded to me. I opened the folder and pulled out the official documents inside. "This," I said, holding up the papers, "is the deed to this house." The color drained from Marcus's face. "That's impossible. Your father didn't leave the house to you, Marcus," I continued, my voice growing stronger. "He left it to his daughter-in-law. To me." Linda stumbled backward. "That's a lie. Robert would never." "Robert Williams was dying," James interrupted. "He watched his son gamble away the family business, drain the savings accounts, and destroy everything he'd built. So he made a choice." I pulled out a second document, a handwritten letter. "He wrote this 3 weeks before he died. He said I was the only person who truly cared about this family." Marcus lunged for the papers, but James stepped between us. "I wouldn't, Mr. Williams. These are certified copies. The originals are safely filed with the county. This is fraud." Marcus screamed. "She forged these." One of James's associates opened his briefcase. "We have security footage of your father's final visit to our office." He was very clear about his intentions. Linda's hand shook as she grabbed Marcus's arm. "Do something. This can't be legal." "Mrs. Williams," James said coldly, "your son has been living in his wife's house for 18 months without her permission. Technically, he's been squatting." The room went dead silent. I walked to the center of the foyer, my heels clicking on the marble that now belonged to me. Marcus, you have 1 hour to pack your things and leave my house. Sarah, please, Marcus's voice cracked. We can work this out. I was angry. I didn't mean. You meant every word. I folded the deed carefully and placed it back in my purse. Just like your father meant every word when he signed this over to me. Linda collapsed onto the stairs. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. James pulled out his phone. I have a moving truck on standby if you need assistance removing your belongings, Mr. Williams. Marcus looked around desperately, at the family photos, the expensive furniture, the grand staircase. Everything he thought was his. The woman you're bringing over tonight, I said quietly, she'll have to find somewhere else to stay. His shoulders sagged in defeat. The fight was over. There's more, James added, consulting his notes. Mrs. Williams, according to the will, you're also entitled to compensation for household expenses paid during the period of illegal occupancy. I shook my head. I don't want money, James. I just want my dignity back. Marcus and Linda began their humiliating march upstairs to pack. Their empire had crumbled in minutes. James handed me a new set of keys. The locks will be changed within the hour. As the front door closed behind them for the last time, I stood alone in the silence of my house. Not our house. Not his house. Mine. I walked to the kitchen window and watched Marcus load his car under the streetlights, Linda crying on the sidewalk beside him. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This isn't over. I smiled and typed back. You're right. Your eviction notice is just the beginning. Sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest thunder. And sometimes the house always wins, especially when it knows who really owns it.